Welcome back to another episode of AnimeCons TV. I'm here this time with someone I meant to interview for years and have been a slacker, Viga, who's a great panelist and your featured panelist here at Otakon 2017, right?
Yes.
Excellent. So, just to get things started, do you have a favorite panel you've ever done, or one that you've seen that you always thought was really fun?
Okay, so Anime Next, this year, 2017, I did Idols of Anime, which is one of my favorite panels to run because I talk about Idols of Anime is also my YouTube show. So what made this particular time I ran it special at Anime Next was the fact that there was a dozen WOTA in the audience. And they weren't just WOTA, they had the glow sticks, they knew the chants, they did the stuff to obscure idol anime they probably never heard of till that moment and did it anyway. They did it to the Perfect Blue trailer.
That's impressive.
And when Love Live Sunshine came up, I said, okay, everyone's gonna go wild over this. Show the slide. Everyone's like, ah! Turn on the opening. The whole room is dancing and glow sticking, and then you got Mike Toole because his panel's right after mine. He comes in the room looks around like, what? That was probably my favorite. Now, as for favorites I've ever seen, that's kind of hard because it's like every con has a one. For today, it was Jed's panel on Utena. For usually at a con, it ends up being one of Charles' panels that ends up being my favorite. And depending on the con, Yuri on Ice, because that's my current obsession.
There you go.
So yeah, that's one. But I think the one that sticks up in my memory is probably Anime USA 2010, when it's like I just started doing panels, and I'm like, man, what am I gonna do today? I walk into just a random room. And there's Charles giving a panel back when he was doing more of the, anime anthropologist stuff, and I'm like, whoa, this was awesome. That's awesome.
Was that the year you did RPGs you may not have heard about?
Yeah, that was 10 RPGs better than Final Fantasy.
I remember that year. That was the first year I went to Anime USA.
You were there too?
Yeah,
Holy crap.
That's when I met you guys.
Fate! Yeah! If you don't know, audience, we've been friends for a while.
For almost 7 years now.
Yeah!
So,
come on, friends!
So, but you hit upon something that you said, kind of good panels and stuff. To you, either as a presenter or as an attendee, what do you think makes a good panel? Because everyone kind of has a different definition.
There are 3 things that every panelist should have and do. 1, they have to have passion. No one's gonna feel passionate about the thing you're talking about if you don't have passion for what you're talking about. That includes speaking with passion. Yeah. That includes being passionate about the thing you're talking about. That just includes your general attitude in the room. You have to have passion. 2nd, you gotta research. You don't want to be up there not knowing what you're talking about. That's why you have to end up doing your panel way in advance. At least give yourself 3 weeks before the con if you have to rush things. But yeah, you want to know your topic. The more you know your topic, the more comfortable you are public speaking. And the 3rd thing is just public speaking skills in general.
And that's, I think, something that you just get practice with.
Yeah.
We've all had our first panels where we are oh, no one's going to like us, we're nervous, we're jittery.
Oh God, I remember mine.
And it is, I love talking, not only giving panels, but talking about panels. And I always say, you're always going to have, everyone's a beginner at some point. And I think that's a huge thing when people say they don't have any public speaking skill, that's the way you get practice.
That's kind of how I got friends into it. I was I would suggest to friends who I knew were very passionate about and knew about a thing, but they didn't really have the public speaking part. I'd be like, hey, you should do a panel list. I don't know. Just have to practice on it. You should do a panel.
Yeah.
You should do it. And sometimes I'll get friends who, their first panel, but I'll be their co-panelists. So it's I just want to pass the baton to a next generation as soon as possible to everyone.
Yeah, it's nice when someone asks you to join them, because then you can kind of nudge them along and just when they hit kind of a stumbling block, you kind of oh, here, give them another point, just kind of feed them along a little. Yeah. And then and I realize I'm kind of hijacking your interview here.
It's okay.
You have those friends that you kind of drag onto your panel.
Yes.
And then you see them like 2 years later, and they're doing stuff on things you could never even think about, and you're like, oh, my nerdlings are growing up.
The first panels I've ever done was with people. Like, my very first one was Magical Girl Wonderland. AUSA 2008, I think. I did that with a friend from college who liked magical girls. And yeah, we just talked about kind of the history of magical girls, and holy crap, we could have researched a lot more.
Yeah.
Holy crap, my slides were crap. Oh my god. It was pretty amateur, but at the same time, people were into it.
Yeah.
And for a long time, my friend Jed, another longtime panelist, we did panels together for a few years until like I moved and we did panels apart for a while, and today was the first time we did, no, not today, tomorrow will be the first time we did a panel together in years, and yeah, it's like the fam's back together, man. All the con fams up in here, everyone's in my hometown in Otakon.
There we go.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of panels by yourself. Isn't that nerve-wracking to you?
Actually, it's less nerve-wracking. When you do it with a partner, you're working really hard because you don't want to let them down. And honestly, it kind of keeps you in check when it comes to like making sure it's done. Yeah. But when you work on yourself, the only person you have to worry about disappointing is yourself, honestly. Yeah. And sometimes I still disappoint myself, even though the audience thinks, man, she was great. I think, holy crap, that sucked.
I could have fixed that. Oh, that sort of little things like that.
But it's like, I like doing stuff with people. I just don't get a chance to do it that often. And sometimes I submit it with other people, but it just might not go through.
It's definitely a style preference. I have done panels by myself, but I always trying to think, who can I wrangle in on this with me to help me and play off of? So it is a very different personality sort of thing. So another question I've always kind of wondered, and then trying to teach the next generation, what do you think are lessons panels should learn, either the hard way or just get them to learn ahead of time so they know what to expect?
Learn how to use PowerPoint. Like, holy crap, like, there's some jobs where people look for people who know how to do PowerPoint. I had to learn that whole program's in and out. There was a point where PowerPoint I didn't think was the best, so I had to kind of be, what's the word, ingenuitous? Yeah, so in some of my first panels from back in the day, I instead made slides in Photoshop and then put them in a long video with all the clips in it. So it's like a video that I just pause when there's a slide. I did that for a long time, and then when PowerPoint got, much better, you were able to insert video and HD video and all that, then I started going all PowerPoint all the time.
Yeah, I use Keynote, but it's the same sort of thing. It's whichever slide presentation software at the very least.
I prefer PowerPoint because I have a PC and a Mac. So
it's 6 of one and half a dozen the other, I think. But anyway, other things that you want people to learn.
Know how to edit clips. One, never rely on con Wi-Fi. I still see this to this day, that people think, oh, I'll just pull up YouTube videos. No, download the video. There's lots of add-ons for Firefox to download YouTube videos and clips, or you could just use OBS and put on Crunchyroll if you need a clip from a show.
Yeah.
Or rip the DVDs. Is there Blu-ray rippers yet?
Handbrake can do it.
Handbrake. Had to use all of that, and then edit down the clips that you want, so you don't have the whole episode up, but you have to find a time code.
Yeah, and if you don't know how to do that, find a friend who does.
I'm a friend who does.
Bribe them with dinner or something like that.
Give me $20 in 24 hours, and we got a deal.
there you go. But a lot of those programs are learning how to practice. You just got to kind of learn, find some time, learn it, and then when the time comes to actually put it in a panel, you know how to do it. Sometimes
when you have the panel, you have to learn how to do it right then and there.
Yeah.
So I kind of became like PowerPoint master, knowing how to do all that, because it was a necessity. And plus, when it comes to editing your panels, PowerPoint's a really good tool because you could, and Keynote, but because you could just like edit out or hide a slide if you don't want that anymore, or change it last minute.
Yeah, or just say, oh, if you're practicing your panel, say, well, actually this point is better brought up earlier on, and just move it around and things like that. That helps a lot.
Sometimes I'm doing that up to the last 10 minutes before the panel. Like this morning I did that for the YouTube panel. I moved some things around and then I forgot I moved them, so it was like, crap.
Now, again, besides panels, and cons in general, I love asking people, like, do you have a favorite memory, a crowning moment of awesome, or anything like that?
There's too many. I'm trying to think, what is a great one? Okay, I got 3 really good ones. Okay, one, it was back in 12. Monica Magica was the soup du jour from all American otaku at the point.
Yep.
I was at Anime Boston, and I was doing this panel with Jed. Jed Blue. So we're like, okay, so where's the panel room? We end up getting this huge room that's an auditorium, 1,200 seats, like big screens on the side, and we're like, and then we rocked that panel, and it was like really full. And Jed has since done many Monica panels with the same type of title, Latin, Monica, more Latin, pun. And so he kind of turned that into a panel franchise. The only reason I haven't been past the second one is because I moved. Another really good one, I think, is, I think it's when me and Simon Ladd, who does the webcomic Conventional Wisdom, basically talking about conventions and stuff, I think it was the first time we did the Digimon panel, it was at Otakon, and we were like, man, I wonder where the room is. They gave us the huge room that used to be on the top floor where they would have, and I'm like, we didn't even fill it, but it was just so awesome that we were in there. It's kind of, this is the 4th year anniversary of us doing Digimon panel at Otakon. So it's kind of been almost a tradition now, except the tradition's kind of broken because we're usually on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And people were like, people in the audience was like, you're usually on Sunday morning. Yeah. I know, they broke the tradition. Third one? No. Okay, not third in terms of number, like, it's just one of the 3 things I think about. When I got with my fiance, I asked him out at Anime Midwest. He said yes. We went out for a burger. We're engaged now.
Congratulations.
We're getting married in like 3 months.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, and I realize we're talking a lot about panels and everything like that. What is content you'd like to see either more or less of for panels or conventions in general?
Well, so this kind of goes into something else. Like, so I'm in the Midwest now. The Midwest, in terms of panels, is a lot like the East Coast was around 2007 and 8. Lots of Asuka panels and stuff like that. Yeah. Now they're mostly gone in places like the Otakon, Anime Boston. I don't even think Anime Central has those, and they're in Chicago. But yeah, those are mostly dying out. Except for sometimes those small town cons or
when they need
Minnesota cons.
when they need something to fill the schedule.
Yeah, when they need something. Panels I would like to see more of. I want to see more mangaka as guests to do panels, like drawing workshops and stuff like that. You don't get mangaka that much at conventions at all. That
is something I've always kind of wondered. I mean, you always hear the stories of like, oh, I missed my deadline and I have done. So it sounds like they're always busy, but I would love to be able to give them a chance because you're gonna get that volume of something, down a couple months down the road. And if you see that story of like, oh, I went to this con and had a lot of fun, that's just gonna make you feel so awesome to be able to say, I was there.
Yeah, I would love to see that, and I guess I would like to see good comedy panels, like Anime Burger Time.
Anime Burger Time.
That is funny. That is awesome. That is, and it's right. And it's also around when we saw it at Anime Next.
Yeah.
It was during hentai stuff usually is, but not everyone wants to see hentai.
It was late night programming that wasn't 18 plus. I love that.
That's why when I made craziest Japanese commercials, which is known as weirdest Japanese commercials at Otakon, because craziest kind of, like when people say craziest, they might think it's craziest deaths
Yeah.
or something. That I actually developed that panel to be for that same sort of time slot, but I'm almost never in that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's just me having fun and showing people crazy things and doing weird, stupid commentary over it. I like comedy panels, but it has to be a certain person who knows how to do it. You know,
you have to work up to the comedy tier as a panelist. I feel like it's a really hard thing to start on.
Yeah.
Because you got to learn the timing and stuff like that, and you're basically doing stand-up.
Yeah, and I mostly just make regular panels and then intersect jokes sometimes. Like this morning with Digimon Tri panel, I would say something or even with the clips, I would put in a little bit of kind of AMV-esque sort of thing with just a clip.
Yeah.
And just to make the room laugh, because they're gonna remember. People remember your panel if they laughed and had a good time at it.
And I think with you talk about passion and doing the hard work, but a lot of what makes a good panel is also not taking yourself too seriously. Take your work seriously. Don't take yourself seriously.
Yeah. And speaking of serious, I do like the serious, more analytical stuff that Jed is really good at. And doing right now, and I'm missing it, but it's cool.
You missed a good panel for me. This is what we do at AnimeCons TV.
Yeah.
We get you the good stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like the East Coast is filled with that. I want to see that more pushed into the Midwest. The Midwest doesn't have that culture of panels that we have here. I'm trying to be the ambassador.
There you go. And I think that's an interesting thing that you say. It's not so much a content for panels, it's the location for panels.
Yeah, but while it seems like I'm ragging on the Midwest, I'm sorry, Midwestern watchers of this. Midwest has things that the East Coast I wish had. Like, they're down to earth. They don't take themselves too seriously. They have con suites where I could get some free ramen.
There you go.
And people there are just very friendly and have fun, and we just chill out. It's more like, and they know how to party. Holy crap. AnimeCons with freaking party sections of the hotel.
Oh, wow.
The con organizes room parties. There was a party, and I guess this is the fourth best moment of the con. Someone took a hotel room, turned it into the bar from Death Parade.
Wow.
Everyone was dressed as cosplay, and they had parlor games and booze. That was themed.
That's amazing.
There was a Nintendo rave. There was a Steven Universe room that was, all ages, and then, at a certain point, went drinking age. There was free cotton candy people.
Jeez.
Anime Detour is the best party I've ever been to. Just all of it. Best party. Anime, it's on my list, man. It's on the list I recommend to you and everyone.
I will put it on my list.
Although now it moved, so who knows what the culture is going to be around it.
So, any other final thoughts you want to share with the audience?
Oh, conventions are great, aren't they? Let's see. Other thoughts. Well, you talked about panels a lot.
Yeah.
So, don't be afraid to do a panel. I mean, I know a lot of you watching have some sort of specialty, like whether you're a Sentai fan or a manga, like someone who's a manga nut, or you just like yaoi or yuri or something. Try doing it. I mean, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have to gain? Where sometimes you could gain more friends.
Yeah, we've been friends. I've met a lot of good friends from paneling.
Yeah, I've met con friends. I've gotten more confidence in public speaking. I already knew how to do public speaking because I was in Toastmasters as a child. I also was a performer as a child. So yeah, I was already acclimated to being in front of people and performing and stuff like that. But it's something different because it's about anime.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's just amazing how I even got this far at it.
You still reach that point of when are they going to find out I'm not cool? A little
yes,
bit.
Exactly.
You feel like almost the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, and then one day when some people were talking about me, they were fans of my stuff. I was like, holy crap, am I the cool kid?
Yeah. So there is just all that, and you said everyone try a panel. If you've ever been to a con and when it fits the programming, because you don't want to say I'm going to do a thing on I don't know, Braveheart at an AnimeCon. You know, Braveheart's not anime. I mean, that would be amazing to see, but that's not the case. But, you know, as long as it fits in the program, but you say, I really wish there was a panel about blank. Well, you know about that stuff. Go for it. I got my start doing Gundam panels when there really wasn't Gundam panels, and now there's a bunch of them out there and stuff like that. So you can do that, and you'll get inspired by other people too. And finally, I guess the last question is, where can people find more about what you're up to?
Okay. At Viga on Twitter. Check my channel, Viga Loves. I do the show Idols of Anime. And check out my fan Facebook, also called Idols of Anime. And coming soon, a new show called Beyond Pokemon. I'm basing that on one of my panels. So like Idols of Anime, the show, there's going to be a Beyond Pokemon show.
Well, cool. Thank you for taking the time with us. And if you have any questions for us for Viga or in general, don't forget to send us a note at podcast@animecons.tv. You can also hit us up on Twitter, Facebook. I think we're on Instagram and Tumblr. We're all over the place. But please send us your feedback. We want to know how we're doing. So Until next time, we'll catch you later. And once again, Viga, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah.